Welcome to LT Outdoors. The sun is coming up, the bobber's going down. Fish are all a-biting and jumping all around. Let's hook up the boat, come on, let's go. It's time for LT Outdoors. I'm talking LT Outdoors. You never know where the adventures might go. Could be hunting, fishing, or metal detecting. Might even do a little foraging too. I'm talking LT Outdoors. I hope you enjoy the show. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of LT Outdoors. In this short segment, I'm actually going to be just teaching you a little bit about the Windlass Tip Up. My friend Ryan got me into them, and as you've seen in my videos, I'm super addicted to them. They're excellent. They catch more fish hands down than a regular tip up. They're just great, and they're made by HT. I just got this one in the mail yesterday, so now I have two of them. So I will probably just be running these now. I don't think I'm going to run any tip ups again because these things here are just phenomenal. So yeah, I'm probably going to put my tip ups away and I'll just be running these HT Windlass. But I figured I'd show you today how to set these up because there is a few things you have to do. They come in a package like this when you order them or you buy them from the store. There is a little bit of setup that you have to do, not much. They're basically put together. And they're pretty much ready to go. I'm also going to show you how to string it up. You got to do it a certain way. But this is how they come. You know, pretty much already ready to go. The thing will fold up like this. Now you've got, as you can see, you've got wing nuts down here on the base. On the other side you do anyway. I should flip it around. But yeah, you got a wing nut down here on the base. You got a wing nut up here by the spool. You're going to have to tighten those down. Tighten up the one here by the spool. You don't want to tighten it too much because this one here you want to be able to, you want it to bounce. So really you don't want this one tight. The next thing you'll see is when it comes in the package, it comes with the spring not attached, the secondary spring. You've got two springs. You can see the one here is attached to the eyelet. Now you're going to want to attach the second spring that it comes with. This one here, you're going to want to attach that to the eyelet as well. Okay, and what that does is, as you can see right now, the tip up is just, it's floppy, right? It's just going to stay like that. This second spring right here is actually going to hold the tip up. It keeps it balanced is what it does. And it's great because that spring, it's not too much to where it's going to cause the fish to feel it. And by the way, the spring has, you probably can't see it, but it's got a split ring. You might be able to see it on there. But it's got kind of a split ring on the end. So you're able to just kind of put that split ring. It's a little tricky, especially if you got bad eyesight like I do. But you just kind of put the split ring onto that eyelet. That'll work. Because it's kind of a tight fit. Okay, now as you can see, now that I've got those two springs attached, it is very well balanced. That's what you want. Now the flag, okay, this is where you got to learn how to spool it the right way. And this is important. The flag is actually, this is the only way that you set the flag. You just put it behind the spool. That's all there is to it. That's how you set this thing. So when you spool it up, you got to make sure that your line is coming out this way. Because that way when it goes off, boom, you know, the fish pulls on that line, it makes that flag go off. And as you heard in my videos, I've got a little bell that I clip to the end of that, and I'll tell you, you can hear that from a long way away. But the really cool thing about these windlass tip-ups is they've got this metal pan. It's I don't know if it's, I think it's tin. It might be aluminum. But it's really nice because the wind catches this. That's where it's called a windlass. The wind will catch this, even the slightest wind. And you know what that does? That makes your jig go up and down because your line, you're actually going to run it through this little eyelet right here. And so your line is attached to this pan and it jigs your bait. It's really incredible. I'm glad that Ryan taught me about this because it's definitely up my game. But yeah, I'm going to get my line out. We're going to get this spooled up and show you how to do that. I got this big spool of line right here. This is actually what I use when I'm tying up my harnesses, which I'm going to show you guys how to do that too. But this big spool of line, this is 10-pound test. And this is what I like to spool up on my tip ups, at least for my windlass. I don't recommend it for regular tip up because when those go off and you're fighting the fish and you have to pull all that line in, you get so many tangles in that. So I would just use tip up line on regular tip up and then run a nice leader of monofilament. But for these windlass, so far I found the monofilament works just exceptional. So, but what you do is take your line, you put it right through that eyelet in the pan. Okay, and then like I said, this is the important part. You got to make sure that when you tie this up, it's made so that the line, you got to make sure that it's wrapped so that when the fish pull it, it's going to go out. So what I do is, it's got all these little holes in the side of the spool here. I just tie to one of these. There's like 4 holes in there. I just tie a nice little knot off on there, which I'll show you guys my favorite knot that I use too. I use it on everything actually. It's the only fishing knot you really ever need to know. Okay, now she's ready to go. Now I'm going to spool it up. Now, like I said, I'm spooling in a way to where when the fish pull, it's going to trip that flag. That's the important thing. You got to make sure you're spooling it the right way, because if you don't, you're going to have issues. It's not going to go off. So I'm not going to film me putting this line on here because it's a long process. I'm just going to sit here and do this for like 15 minutes or something to get a good amount of line on here. But I'll show you when I rig up I'm going to hook one of my spinners on here, my tip-up harnesses with one of my swivels. I'll show you how to do that. Alright everybody, the setup of the windlass tip-up is basically done. What I'm going to do now, I realized I didn't have any of my spinners tied up. I ran out, so it's a good thing I seen that. I'm going to have to tie some more up. But what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to tie on a swivel. Then I'm going to put on one of my nice little tip-up harnesses that I just tied up. I've been doing really good on the chrome blades. Chrome's always a good color. It's got the flash of a minnow down there, and especially on these windlass, because that little pan is going to be jigging down there like this, and you got to figure that blade is going to be bouncing and spinning and flickering, and it gets the job done. I've noticed a huge jump in my bites compared to my regular tip up. But yeah, that's all there is, guys. This thing is rigged up and ready to go. Like I said, goes off really nice. The best part about this, as far as I'm concerned, is the spool. It's free spinning. I mean, that thing, there's no pull. On the tip ups, no matter what, especially on some of them as they get older, they won't spin as freely. The fish will be able to feel a little bit of pull, and that's not good, especially on the fish that are, a little bit of hook shy, that have been around the block a time or two. You definitely don't want them to be feeling any extra pressure than they have to. And I'll tell you, this is the way to go, because they don't feel nothing with this. It's free spool all the way. So yeah, it's a really great setup. Like I said, that pan is going to be sitting there like that, and it's going to be making that blade go nuts. But yep, and as much line, as far as putting line on there goes, I like to put, like close to 100 yards or so, because you really never know what's going to happen. I've had fish spool me before. You might not be paying all that much attention. You might be too busy pounding bluegills or something in the shanty, not see the flag go up right away. You go out to check, see it's up. You're just a little too late. Sometimes they run so fast, they'll just pull it right out. You don't want that to happen. So yeah, I usually put about 100 yards on there, and I seem to be fine. I haven't been spooled in years. But that's all there is to it, guys. This is the windlass tip up, and you can see how well it's balanced. It definitely doesn't take much for the wind to blow that around. I mean, those springs are really cool. And as far as the base goes, I usually just take some of the slush from my hole. Not a whole lot of it. You don't want this to freeze down and possibly break it when you're trying to get it back up. But I just take a clump of slush and I plop it on the back end here just to weigh it down. I don't have any problems with it. It's working great. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure you give this windlass tip up a try. For those of you that like chasing flags, I'm telling you right now, this is a whole new ball game and you're going to love it. It's really a great tool. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to try and put out a few more little videos here and there to kind of help you with some how-tos. And yeah, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. LT Outdoors is brought to you by Widowmaker Lures, quality tungsten jigs, Cowboy Coffee Chew, a cup in a pinch, Northland Fishing Tackle. Check them out online for a huge selection of lures. Wellman's Bait and Tackle in Oscoda, Michigan. Crooked Bend, quality food plot mixes. Drake Clothing Company, quality outdoor clothing. And Heavy Metal Custom Lures, awesome jigs and a great selection of plastics.